All right. So listen to this story. I'm sure you will learn a thing or two from it. So this woman was admitted in labor. By the time she came, her cervix was already 4 cm dilated. And of course, labor monitoring starts when the cervix is at least 4 cm dilated. That is in active phase of labor. So, and this being her first time, she actually progressed quite well. About 5 to 6 hours later, she was 8 cm dilated. And of course, when you come to the labor room and a woman is progressing in labor, you know that eventually the shouts will start going to the roof, especially for someone who is laboring without epidural anesthesia. All right, so labor was taking a whole lot of toll on her. She was in pain. Her husband was there. We urged him to, encourage her and massage her waist when the pain becomes unbearable. And things was going on the way they should go. However, by the time she got to 8 cm dilated, cervix stopped dilating. She was given some time, being that her baby was stable and she was still strong. So she was given all the time, enough time to see if there will be further improvement. But she was having good contraction. Cervix refused to dilate. And then on vaginal examination, it was discovered that there was caput. Caput is this swelling that appears on the head, on the scalp of a baby, during vaginal delivery. That's when the pressure between the fetal head and the pelvic bone is actually much. So there will be some form of swelling which resolves afterwards. And it's also a sign of obstruction. When there is an obstruction, say the head cannot perfectly pass through the pelvic bone, there will be caput. Okay, so caput was forming. It was already +2 in the grading, and the fetal heart rate was becoming unstable. There was some kind of fetal distress. There was also meconium, so obviously there was fetal distress. And at this point, the doctors who were managing her, they couldn't wait anymore. So she was cancelled for cesarean section in order to deliver her. At that point, of course, she accepted. Then her husband was called. Okay, Oga, come and sign consent for us to take your wife to theater, because as it stands now, her chances of delivering vaginally is actually very slim, and the longer we wait, the more possible that complications will likely set in. He said, let me make a call. So he walked out of the labor room, went, placed some calls, probably to his family, and then he came back and said, no, that he's not giving a consent. Everybody was shocked, like, why won't you give consent for your wife to be taken to the theater? And he said the most ridiculous thing ever. He said, my mother delivered 5 of us without going through cesarean section. My wife will not have CS. I will not sign for her to have CS. I mean, this is a woman that was already getting exhausted. She's been in labor for at least 6 to 8 hours. There's not been any progress over the past 2 to 3 hours. And everything confirms that the head of the baby could not pass successfully through her pelvic bone. I mean, she was having good contractions, she was in pain. And this is a man that have never tasted what labor pain looks like, saying that his mother did not have cesarean section and she had 5 of them SVD, that's vaginally. Therefore, he's not going to give consent. The complications of what might likely happen were explained to her, how that he may lose her baby and might even lose her wife, and he didn't budge. At a point, he even got angry with the wife, like, you push this thing, let's get it up. The managing team went back to the wife and said, your husband refused to sign. You, as an adult, you can actually give consent for us to take you to theater and deliver this baby. And without hesitation, the woman gave consent. She managed to sign and miss the pain, something that the husband was supposed to have done. She was taken to theater and surgery was performed within an hour. She was out, baby was good, she was good. Then that husband, that man that called himself her husband, I don't want to abuse him because of this video, but you can abuse him. He was not thanking God. I said, God, I thank you. You have put the enemy to shame. Shut up, my friend. Which enemy did God put to shame? And this is what happens when people have very bad or very skewed orientation. So because your mother did not have CS, then your wife should also not have cesarean section, even when she needs it. Now imagine if this woman could not give consent. And imagine if the husband was the only one who was in the capacity of making decisions for her. Just imagine what would have happened. Now, if the baby had died and she now had the CS, he will now say, that is the will of God. Which will of God? Or okay, let's assume that the woman also died. God forbid that the woman lost her life. Should be after a year or two, he will go and marry another wife. I don't know. I don't know the problem people have with cesarean section, but to give a reason that is because your mother did not deliver any of your CS, therefore, it's a very stupid reason, a very foolish reason. And this is somebody's husband, somebody's son, obviously an adult, reasoning like. Anyway, this is for you women. Before you marry that man, you should ensure that he has sense, because you can be in a situation whereby somebody that has sense needs to decide whether you live or die. If you marry someone who does not have sense, he will choose to just allow you to die, and then he will go and marry someone else. After all, he's not the one in labor. And I bet many men that have made such useless decision while their wife is in labor, if you give them that labor to bear, they won't even pass through it 1 hour. They will go and sign up for cesarean section. So CS is not bad. CS is actually a life-saving procedure, which I encourage everyone that needs it to not hesitate to go in for it. See you in the next episode. Bye.